In the kingdom of Merrymoor, where laughter echoed through the streets and the smell of freshly baked bread wafted from the bakeries, there lived a king named Ferdinand. King Ferdinand was a wise and just ruler, beloved by his subjects for his fairness and kindness. However, the king harbored a secret fear that plagued him day and night. He was terrified of mice. Now you might wonder how a mighty king could be afraid of such small creatures. But fear, as they say, knows no bounds. And King Ferdinand's fear of mice was as real as it was irrational. He couldn't bear the thought of the tiny rodents scurrying around his royal chambers, their beady eyes and twitching whiskers sending shivers down his spine. Determined to rid his castle of the pesky pests, King Ferdinand issued a decree banning all mice from the kingdom under the penalty of banishment. But try as he might, the mice seemed to multiply with each passing day, much to the king's dismay. His fear only grew stronger, and soon the castle was overrun with the very creatures he sought to banish. Enter Jester Jack, the king's loyal and quick-witted jester. Jester Jack was known throughout the kingdom for his sharp wit and clever antics, but he also had a heart of gold and a deep affection for his fearful king. Determined to help his royal friend overcome his fear of mice, Jester Jack devised a plan that was as cunning as it was comical. One day, as the king sat brooding in his chambers, Jester Jack burst in with a flourish, clad in a comically oversized suit of armor and brandishing a wooden sword. "Fear not, your majesty. I have a plan to rid the castle of mice once and for all," Jester Jack declared, his eyes sparkling with mischief. Intrigued by his jester's bold proclamation, King Ferdinand couldn't help but chuckle at the sight before him. Despite his fear, the king found himself feeling a glimmer of hope for the first time in weeks. Could it be that Jester Jack had finally found a way to conquer the mouse problem once and for all? With a sense of anticipation, King Ferdinand listened as Jester Jack unveiled his plan. Jester Jack's plan to address the kingdom's mouse problem relied heavily on enlisting the help of Sir Whiskers, the regal and esteemed feline resident of the castle. Sir Whiskers, known for his sleek coat and haughty demeanor, was not particularly known for his enthusiasm for hunting mice. In fact, he much preferred lounging in the sun or indulging in gourmet cat treats over engaging in any form of exertion. Despite Sir Whiskers' reluctance, Jester Jack saw potential in the lazy cat. He believed that by appealing to Sir Whiskers' ego and sense of honor, they could persuade him to take on the task of ridding the castle of mice. Thus, Jester Jack devised a clever plan to cast Sir Whiskers as the valiant hero in a grand quest to vanquish the mouse menace. Jester Jack approached Sir Whiskers with great ceremony, regaling him with tales of ancient heroes and noble quests. He spun a narrative of a mighty knight tasked with a perilous mission to protect the kingdom from a fearsome foe. Sir Whiskers, ever one to appreciate flattery and attention, was intrigued by the prospect of becoming a hero. With much fanfare and a ceremonial dubbing, Sir Whiskers was officially knighted and charged with the noble duty of safeguarding the castle from mice. Donning an imaginary suit of armor and brandishing an imaginary sword, Sir Whiskers set out on his quest, his pride and vanity driving him forward. As Sir Whiskers embarked on his mouse-catching mission, the castle was thrown into a frenzy of activity. The once quiet halls echoed with the sound of clattering armor as Sir Whiskers prowled the corridors in search of his elusive prey. His dignified demeanor was a sight to behold as he strutted through the castle with all the pomp and grandeur befitting a knight of his stature. However, despite Sir Whiskers' best efforts, the mice proved to be elusive adversaries. They darted and dodged with remarkable agility, always managing to stay one step ahead of the determined feline knight. Nevertheless, Sir Whiskers persisted, his pride driving him to ever greater feats of bravery and determination. As the days passed, the castle became a scene of hilarity and chaos. Sir Whiskers' valiant efforts often resulted in comical mishaps and misadventures, much to the amusement of the castle residents. Even King Ferdinand, who had once been consumed by fear at the thought of mice, found himself laughing at the absurdity of it all. Despite the ongoing battle with the mice, there was a sense of camaraderie among the castle residents. They rallied together in the face of adversity, their shared laughter and lightheartedness serving as a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always room for joy and merriment. And as Sir Whiskers continued his quest with unwavering determination, the kingdom of Merrymoor was filled with laughter and the promise of brighter days ahead. As days turned into weeks, the castle of Merrymoor remained a hive of activity as Sir Whiskers continued his valiant quest to rid the kingdom of mice. Despite his best efforts, the pesky rodents seemed to multiply faster than ever, much to the frustration of the castle residents. Yet amidst the chaos, something remarkable began to happen. A sense of unity and camaraderie flourished among the inhabitants of the castle. King Ferdinand, once consumed by fear at the mere thought of mice, found himself laughing alongside his subjects at the absurdity of the situation. His once dreaded encounters with the tiny rodents had become sources of amusement, and he marveled at the transformation that had taken place within himself. But it wasn't just the king who had undergone a change. The castle staff, too, had embraced the chaos with good humor and a sense of resilience. Together, they devised creative solutions to deal with the mouse problem, from makeshift traps to light-hearted pranks designed to outwit their tiny adversaries. And then, one fateful day, as Sir Whiskers prowled the castle halls in search of mice, something unexpected happened. In a stroke of luck, or perhaps sheer determination, Sir Whiskers finally caught sight of the elusive rodents. With a swift pounce and a triumphant yowl, he captured the leader of the mouse pack, effectively putting an end to the kingdom's mouse problem once and for all. As the castle erupted into cheers and applause, King Ferdinand couldn't help but feel a swell of pride in his heart. Not only had they overcome their fear of mice, but they had also done so with humor, creativity, and a sense of unity that had brought them closer together as a community. In the aftermath of the mouse-catching victory, the castle of Merrymoor was filled with laughter and celebration. The once feared rodents had become the subject of jokes and anecdotes, their antics immortalized in the memories of those who had witnessed the chaos firsthand. But amidst the revelry, there was a valuable lesson to be learned, a lesson about facing one's fears with humor and resilience, about coming together as a community in the face of adversity, and about finding joy in the most unexpected places. As King Ferdinand looked out over his kingdom, he realized that the true measure of a kingdom's strength lay not in its wealth or power, but in the laughter and camaraderie of its people. And with a renewed sense of hope and optimism, he vowed to cherish each moment, knowing that as long as they faced their fears together, they could overcome any challenge that came their way.